Hello and welcome to the Heart's Frontier. I'm Kate, and if this is your first time coming to this channel, then you should know what I do here are pick a card readings, weekly readings, energy readings, and different spiritual videos or meditations and different things that I think might help people. So if you're into that and you want to stay tuned, make sure you're liking and subscribing and hitting the notification bell down in the corner. And if you are returning, then welcome back to another weekly energy reading. So some of the collective energy that I'm feeling this week is feeling like there is a steadiness arriving, and it's because of a lot of feeling of stagnation for a long time. So if you've been feeling as though there's something that just can't quite get started or can't quite get to its next evolution or something. It's almost like you've been feeling held back. And as you've been feeling held back, you keep feeling as though you've been going backwards and or thinking that you've stagnated. And so at this time, you're going to actually get the delivery of a consistency or security or steadiness that will kind of bring you into the present moment, which is it's a beautiful thing, and sort of remind you that you were never actually stuck or stagnant at any of these points here. One of the things I'm feeling also is that people need to be aware this week that you might be subjected to a lot of people's maybe a lot of people's outbursts or resentments. And it feels as though there's a lot of like psychic or telepathic attacks. So it might not be someone actually saying something to you, but it might be that you are just picking up on other people's thoughts or beliefs that are negative or potentially gossipy. I'm hearing that there will be a lot of gossip, or you might be subjected to a lot of talk about people or negative talk about people this week. And if you're someone who really doesn't like to be involved in gossip, then that might be is really an opportunity for you to create a boundary around that. I'm also feeling as though there's going to be a lot of or there's many people listening to this who are in sort of a state of overthinking. Kind of, I was talking about it last week, like this analysis paralysis. And so this week it feels like the time just before a shift or just before a decision is made. So some cards we have going on here is ask for help. What do you really need? And be willing to accept support. Yeah. And you know what? For some of the people who feel, I think this might come up in the business collective reading, for some of the people who feel as though they have been holding themselves back, realize that it may be because you're relying only on yourself to get something accomplished. And it may be that other people need to be involved in order for you to finish or complete or accomplish that. Okay. Yes. So we're getting tulip for friendship and gratitude, which adds up with sort of the asking for help and looking to other people around you. When you're in a period of now steadiness or some certainty, it's time to start reaching out and remembering your supports. And I'm definitely getting for a few of you here that that lately you've been trying to focus on yourself, but you may have forgotten to continue receiving support from community around you. And so, yes, we're also seeing appreciate this moment and sorceress, which is Rhiannon, which is a goddess, feminine energy here. There you can see. And Rhiannon here is saying, you are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. And I'm feeling like there's a lot of, I think part of this certainty is maybe trusting or believing in yourself. I'm also getting that there's going to be a lot of maybe global awareness. It feels like a lot of people this week are going to be looking at the bigger picture, or maybe angry about things on a global scale. Like we're sort of stepping back and taking a bird's eye view of lots of things going on. So this is kind of the process of shifting in and out of self-healing, because we're not always focused on our own journey. Sometimes we need to shift from self-healing to also being aware of the community impact and how we play a part and how we're a part of this large circle of humanity and also of the earth itself. Very interesting. As I'm talking about community and not forgetting that, you're on a self-healing journey, you're also here to communicate and, help heal the global collective. We got this cat spirit, which is claim your independence. So it's interesting. I feel like part of this certainty or steadiness that you're going to have this week is because you're realizing you're independent, and you're also then leaning on this support and realizing that you can claim your independence and still actually have this support come in. Let's see what we can look at in our healing. Masculine energy and movement into balance, which, okay, this makes a lot of sense. You can see the cards here. So there is this sun, moon, and, I would take this also as being like the tides. First card on the deck, which is movement into balance. So this is a zeroing out point where it's like the breath or the blank page before you start the book. And so that type of energy is what's coming in this week, but you're also feeling like you either have independence or, you feel like you are ready for the things that are coming in. Just you're ready for what decisions need to be made this week. And then you're going to feel that masculine energy carry you through to receiving support, which is really, because it's receiving, it's got this feminine energy. So if you can put action towards receiving, that's going to really get you into the flow of your life. So when we talk about being in alignment, it's being able to give and receive almost in equal measure, right? Sometimes we need to put the focus on giving more. Sometimes we need to put the focus on receiving more. But in this week, it feels like collectively we're able to do a lot more. So because of that, I would also like to caution anyone who does a lot not to put a pressure or weight or an absurd amount of things on your plate, but rather just be aware that you're going to do them well. And so pick some of the things that are harder for you to do or that you've maybe been putting off. Pick some of those things this week and just put your full heart into them rather than adding a mound of tasks. So I hope that makes sense. And again, this is maybe going to touch more into the business collective reading. But this is what I'm feeling for this week. I would love to get a little bit more support. I do feel as though also a lot of people are going to be connecting with people, maybe ancestors or just people who have passed on. It feels like you might get some dream visits or just maybe memories popping back into your head, like loving memories of people. And this usually shows up to remind us of the larger perspective. So it's like the chicken or the egg. Either we have a visitation from an ancestor reminding us of like the passing of time, and it allows us to have a better perspective over our lives, or we get this perspective and then we receive a message because we're ready to receive it then, having that perspective. So whichever comes first. I'd actually love to know if you can remember to like pop back on if you have that experience. Let me know which came first, the chicken or the egg. Okay, so in the ways in which you can find healing this week and where you can give yourself support if it's feeling like a little too much is to remember that you are capable of finding your own serenity and retreat inside yourself in the present moment at any time. So it might be a week where at some point, you imagine yourself on a beach because that feels of comfort and you just need to take a step back and sit and enjoy that thought, right? But I really do feel as though this steadiness is leading you to a place of maybe more feelings of peacefulness this week. So I really hope this is the case for you. And if not, I hope this at least sounded nice because this felt like a nice reading for me. And do let me know if this is your experience lately or whether you feel that this does end up coming up for you in life. And if you would like to book a reading with me and figure out what's going on with you and your own individual healing journey, I've been really fascinated with inner child work recently. and also business intuitive work. So if any of those are of interest to you, that's what I'm hearing that I'm being called to focus on next. You can book any reading down below. I have links in the description. And so until next time, or if you want to hop on to the love reading or the business reading, feel free, and see you soon.